So I'm Heather Scobie, and I'm here with Rebecca Ryan Roshi, and we're each gonna teach for about we'll introduce why we're here, I guess, and then we'll each talk for a bit and do some physical exercises. We're gonna encourage folks to participate as we go. So if you can, when we shift, be in a place where you can stand and move about, that would be good. In terms of why I'm here, I was noticing in myself and others that folks were having a tough time now for various reasons. For myself, I work in the and became a team leader in July, and I was having to deal with trying to ground myself during this time, but also trying to be there for my team and trying to figure out how I could make them feel better on a daily basis as we were facing into a lot of uncertainty and anxiety. And the question I was asking myself is, what do we need? What do I need? What do people need during this time? I was also thinking about the Chosei Zen community. And the answer I got without going into a lot of detail around the story of it was Ah-un breathing. And then connected to that was some Nyo statues that I'm going to talk a little bit about. And I was talking to Rebecca about this, and she kind of had a similar story, but from a different angle. And she asked if we wanted to do this seminar together. So I'll let Rebecca tell her introduction.
Hey, thank you for joining us for this experiment, this new talk that's never happened before, and it will never happen again in this way. My name is Rebecca Ryan, and after Fall Sesshin in October, I was debriefing with Heather, kind of how it went, and you know what feels like is needed during this time. And presidential elections always bring up a lot of angst among people who watch the news, regardless of what, political stripe you are. And so that had sort of, happened and was then boiling over into all the repercussions for all Americans. And additionally, we're headed into the dark season. I mean, yesterday was solstice, so it will now become more light in North America and more dark in the southern hemisphere. But I have personally gone through depression in the winter, and I have to do things differently now as I face into the darker times of winter. And then the final thing was, some of you are familiar with this Ram Dass quote of, if you think you're awakened, go spend a weekend with your family. And all of us who celebrate any of these end of year holidays are probably going to spend some time with our families. And the question for Heather and I became, how can we quickly equip you with a few of the things we've been practicing and experimenting with that are completely portable, are available to you anytime and any place, but that can help you get very centered and grounded and immovable, not in the way that nobody can move you, but immovable in the way that we talk about it, which is, being able to take action whenever it is needed. So with that in mind, we brought this to you today. So Heather, I can't wait to hear what you're going to teach us. Let it rip.
Yeah, so I think a good starting place is just acknowledging that we live in, I'll just say, I'll call it how I see it, unprecedented times of kind of rapid change, a lot of uncertainty. Not to say that they're as hard as the times our ancestors went through, but they're certainly challenging on levels that I think, I don't know, people haven't experienced before. It feels like things are speeding up. Green Roshi said that the conditions we're training in now are comparable to the harshest conditions that our Zen ancestors trained under in harsh Zen monasteries. And I think he's right. So we've got increasing polarization. It's hard to talk to our family members sometimes, or we're losing touch with them because of a lot of us versus them thinking. We're increasingly disconnected, although we're more connected, like through Zoom and cellular phones, right? Because we've replaced content with connection. Somehow we feel like we're keeping up with people if we're keeping up with what's on their Instagram feed or their Facebook feed, but that doesn't really satisfy in the same way. And things have, because of the way we're connected or technology, things have just sped up in terms of how quickly we need to do things and respond to things. And we need to learn to see through all that noise, to find our own center and our own way, and to not completely unravel or disengage because of all that. And when I was thinking about how to not disengage, right? Rebecca was talking about getting together with family members during the holidays. The thing I was thinking in terms of how we're all united is that we're all suffering in different ways. We just name different reasons why we're suffering. So if we can see into that, I think it's helpful. And I was also recognizing in myself that it's very tempting. It's very tempting to contract, right? To kind of do one of these and to pull inward rather than reaching out and staying engaged. And we need to stay engaged and connected to stay human, or at least I do. I think you probably do too. And one of my starting points, I live in Alaska right now. I'm in Brooklyn, New York at my sister's place. But one of my starting points that felt helpful was just looking out into the mountains in terms of reminding me of who I really am. There was something about that, gazing out into the mountains, that helped me feel connected again. The oldness of those mountains, it made me feel settled and sort of engaged again. It reminded me of something. And it's difficult to describe also the connection to ancestors. That's something you maybe feel or you don't. But something similar about those mountains and being able to feel into ancestors, Zen ancestors, family ancestors. Those are connection points that I think can bring me back when I'm not feeling engaged. And I wanted to share with you, when I was talking to Krishna Roshi about this, he gave me this poem I think he has in his house. Can you see this? He said, yeah, it's like that poem. Good when clear, good when cloudy, Mount Fuji's original form never changes. So the meaning is something like what was true before is still true. Yeah. And he's not just talking about the mountain, right? It's about what's true inside of you, meaning your true self, right? You guys know this meme? Have you seen it before? You haven't? Oh, I think it's really maybe I'm just a little bit younger than some of you guys. But it's a famous meme that when the world is going to shit, like at work or in your life, people they share this cartoon back and forth to each other. You know what an internet meme is, right? We all know about that. Um, what do you guys think? Like, why is this funny? Or what? Any comments about this meme? You can come off mute or yeah, Paul.
It seems as if it's easier just to ignore the shit that's
Yeah.
going on, and everything's fine.
Yeah, he's either ignoring it or he's grown complacent, like he's gotten used to this shit, right? He can't see it anymore. But this is the kind of meme that comes out of our tradition. Fudo Miao. He's also sitting amidst the flames, right? But his name means immovable. He's the immovable or the unshakable one. And his expression is pretty different, right? He's got those mean looking fangs. And his relationship to this shit is different. He's not oblivious to it. He's right there. He's engaged uh, with a kind of ferocity, a kind of spirit that's missing in the dog meme, right? And he's related to, they say he's related to these guys. Let's see if I can get to the next one. So these are the Nyo that I wanted to talk about. So these guys are the fierce guardians that they're at the entrance to all temples, not just Zen temples, but like every temple, every Buddhist temple has these guys. And you can see the one on the left. Well, actually, let's start with the one on the right. The one on the right, he's got his mouth open and he's taking an inhalation. And the one on the left is exhaling. Okay. And these guys, this is another close up. They've got the same mouths. They're said to be the representation. There's two of them, right? But they're not really two. They've been divided into to represent a dynamic state. And they represent a deity called Vajrapani, who's the protector or power of the Buddha. And they're sitting at the temple gates. They're kind of scary dudes. Some interesting history in terms of connection back to our lineage is that they were the deity, they were said to be the deity of Shaolin, which is the temple where Bodhidharma, our first Zen ancestor, he went to Shaolin Temple in China. So you could say it's the first Zen temple. And they're really fierce, but they believed at this temple that he Vajrapani was a manifestation of Kanun, which if you know her, sometimes she's translated as the Bodhisattva of compassion, the hearer of all the cries of the world. But they have an interesting history. Like at some point, Green Roshi wrote a blog entry about this. He talked about Nyo Zen. So there was this obscure figure named Suzuki Shosan. He was a 17th century Zen master, and Tenoi Roshi apparently spoke of him often and said his focus was that we should develop in ways that we embody the same fierce attention and ki that's demonstrated by these figures. And Green Roshi was saying that how he would design or he would define Nyozen was that it's the ability to face impending disaster. And the point he was making when I talked to him about this was that these aren't just statues. These are universal examples of how the breath works on the human body, how breathing can resolve the duality that we face to create fearlessness. When I was doing research, I thought it was one other slide I'll show you is there's other figures that are like guardians at shrines. This is another shrine in Fukuoka. These are, I think they're called fu dogs. But I thought it was interesting that they also have the Ah-un breathing mouth going on. So I just wanted to show you that. So Ah-un, I want to go into the exercise of doing Ah-un breathing, but I wanted to start by saying, I said it was like an inhalation and an exhalation, right? But ah in the Japanese syllabary, that's the first syllable, ah. And the last syllable in their syllabary, which is like their alphabet, is mm. So it's also like if we said A and Z, right? The beginning and the end. Or in, I think in Greek, they say alpha and omega, right? It has that symbolism of being the beginning and the end. We could say the beginning and the end of all things. Yeah? And when you put them together, you get Om. So it also has that in it, which Om is, it's in every kind of Eastern tradition, right? It's the sacred syllable, the sound of the universe, Om. It also, in Japanese language, when you talk about ah and un, ah un, it has it also means like harmony or reciprocity. So if you talk about like an ah-un relationship, means like there's just that simpatico, like you don't even need to communicate with words. So it has that. I want to go over Ryan Roshi's we're gonna do Hojo walk, but I want to spend some time going over the Ah-un breathing, which has been really useful for me. I've been doing it every day and finding it really useful. Like I even do it in the car or when I just need to settle myself. I don't think we often spend a lot of time going over the mechanics of it. But in terms of the inhalation, it starts from down in the belly. And so I'll demonstrate, and then I want you to also do it along with me. So I'm going to put my hands on my belly, and the initiation of the breath. So if you kind of sucked your belly in or weren't puffing it out, I want you to be able to feel that on the inhalation, it comes from down there, and that there's like a forceful inhalation. There's a small constriction that I'm kind of making in my throat for it to have that sound. And the mouth is like a grimace. And White Law Roshi gave instruction, which I found similar or helpful, which was to make your mouth into a rectangle. So even though it doesn't look so rectangle-ish, if you make it into a rectangle, at least you feel that way. I think it's the closest to the ideal kind of mouth. So the inhalation is, and then the exhalation is you close the mouth. And I'm putting tone in my hara on the exhalation, which is your lower abdomen. Don't just focus on the front of the body. I would also try and see if you can feel it through the lower back, sort of like your lower back is getting wide. There's tone back there as well. And let's do that for a while, and then we can stand and do some breathing exercises as well. So hands on your lower belly. We'll do some own breathing. Okay. Make sure you see 180 degrees as you're doing it. Let's stand up, and as we're standing up, does anybody have any questions about this? Anybody wondering how it should work in your own body? Okay, so as we stand, we're going to add some hand motions. So stand with your feet hip width apart. I want you to have like a micro bend in your knees, so don't lock out your knees. We're going to clasp the hands like this, like your fingers are woven together. And the first inhalation will be up to here. The exhalation will flip the hands, they'll go down. The next inhalation will go up like that. Don't go too far back so that it's uncomfortable, just as your own body can do. And then this is the exhalation. So that's the pattern. There's two different types of inhalation and exhalation, and we rotate through. So you can just follow me. If you have trouble doing this with your hands, you could just keep doing this one, okay? So see if you can feel that although there's focus in your hara, that you're extending ki throughout your whole body. It's like your hara is a little fire hydrant that's got water, and it's shooting out water that extends through your hands, through your feet, through your whole body. Okay? So see if you can feel like there's ki or water blasting through and kind of clearing out adhesions or things, tightness, different things that are occurring in your body that you need to get rid of. Make sure you're making the sound and the kind of ugly face that I was teaching you to make. It's very important, okay? We'll do a few more. We'll do like you can do this kind of as hard and as soft, as refined as you can vary it up, and it's helpful to do that. So I'll do some softer ones. So, just from doing this breathing, like I feel warmer in my body. It generates a lot of ki. I can feel like my voice has changed. It's at a lower point in my body. And you can do this when you're doing all sorts of different things. Like I was saying, I like to do it in my car, as I'm driving to work to get ready for the day. And the point, I guess one take-home point for you guys is we don't train so that we never lose our center, that we never lose this, right? We train so that we know how to remember again, that we know how to come back to it. So if you lose it, you have a simple way to come back. Ryan, Roshi, do you want to stay standing or you want to go back to sitting for a bit?
Let's stay standing because you've built some really nice ki for us, Heather. What we're basically going to do next is is we're going to do Ah-Un breathing in motion with a short walk, with a way of walking that, in my experience, breaks habits. And also in my experience, if you want to bring that fierce spirit into the world, you have to break some of your habits. So, you know now the rhythm of that. So I'm just going to put the feet with it. So I'm going to put my laptop down on the ground. And just so that you know, I have mirroring on. So we always start with the left, and it will literally look like the left to you as well. So for those of you who aren't used to Zoom, this is going to look like the left. A couple things, we don't put our feet wide at, so if you have broad shoulders, people would say do shoulder width apart. If you have broad hips, like my hips are bigger than my shoulders, wider, I would put my feet under my hips. You don't do that here. You put your feet as close together as you can. And so this is a way of breaking a habit. Even now, this is a way of breaking a habit. We are not used to walking with our feet this close together. And I'm going to take a series of steps forward just to demonstrate first how this looks. So we always start with the left. And as we step forward, you're going to do that inhale with that rectangular mouth. And as you bring your right foot, you know what, I'm just going to demonstrate it. So just watch first, and then we're going to do it together. So inhale. And then as I'm exhaling, I'm dragging I was going to say the palm of my foot, but basically the pad of my foot. I'm dragging it forward. And then after I've exhaled, I'm going to inhale again. Step, drag. And then again forward, and so we go. So I'm going to back all the way up. I don't know how much space you have to play with, but my invitation to you is take as many steps forward as you can. And if I'm still going, just turn around and go back the same way you can. I will do this in a restaurant bathroom if I have to. So it's okay to just take 1 or 2 steps forward, turn around, and come back and do it. This is very portable, okay? Now here we're going to start with our hands on our belly, similar to how we were when Scoby Roshi had us sitting, okay? And let's just do one pass. Inhale. Okay, stop there. We're going to do another pass like this. And when I say stop, please just hold your position wherever you are. Hold your position wherever you are so that we can have a little teaching moment, okay? So again, just start like we did before. Left foot forward. Drag the right foot. Stop. Are you balanced? If somebody came to you from behind, from ahead, from the side, either side, from any of the 10 directions, are you balanced? So adjust your stride so that you are balanced in your own body. This is what it means actually to be immovable. It means that you are ready at any moment to move in the direction that you need to go, that you're centered and balanced so that you can do what needs to be done at the right time. Okay? So just put both of your feet back together again. We're going to start again with the left. One more step. Okay, take it back to your opening. That should be better. Now, while I'm here with you guys, go back to your opening stance with your feet together, your knees slightly bent, hands on hara, hands in hara area, and where are your feet? Is there a way that you can root your feet even deeper? Where does your balance have to be for your feet to not just feel like they're touching the floor, but that they're extensions of the earth? For me, my shoulders just had to drop. My eyes had to soften. This is the gravity that the Hojo walk should generate. This isn't walking across the top of a floor. This is moving with the earth as part of a giant mass hurling through space. So what else can you add to this to build that ki and to be moving through space with this mass of earth? Inhale. Okay, as you're going back to your first position, see if you can spread your toes out a little further. And can you feel all four corners, let's say, of your feet? Can you feel both of your little toes? Can you feel both of your big toes gripping the earth? Can you feel the back corners of your heel suctioning on? Scoby Roshi sometimes uses this image of one of those geckos that have those really like feet. We want our feet to be connecting in this totally natural way. But we have to bring additional sensitivity to our feet to do this. So let's break the habits of how we usually walk. And we're going to take one more pass. Inhale. Last step. Okay, please find a space to sit comfortably. As Scoby Roshi said, this is a way of building a tremendous amount of ki. And I would just like to see, let me turn on my gallery view. I would just like to see how many of you, raise your hand if you are either sweating or you are considerably hotter than you were a half an hour ago. Yeah, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. So that ki, that energy moving through your body, I can't even describe all the things that does for you. I'm simply inadequate to describe what that does. But the opening of the senses that you feel, the way you can feel your feet and your hands pulsing with energy, pulsing to that rhythm, your natural rhythm of life, that's where you can do the most good in the world. That's the energy that can help you be the most effective in whatever time, times of uncertainty or times of joy. So I think there were a few things I forgot to mention, and the only one I can remember right now is this, and then we'll open it up for some discussion. Look forward to hearing from you and hearing other tips you have. We have some senseis on the line here. He's got more footfalls on a mat than I'll ever have. But I want to add one other thing. Omori Sogen, who, if you know Gordon Green Roshi, Pat Green Roshi, Ken Kushner Roshi, Omori Sogen is like the equivalent of their Zen grandfather. He was their teacher's teacher. Omori Sogen Roshi, he wrote the book, The Art of Zen Training, and it's one of the first books that you are often, if you want to read this book. And he's got a great section on how to sit zazen. And one of the things I loved learning was that when he sat on his cushion, he always had a little ritual that he did before he actually started his counting breathing. And this resonates deeply with me because when I was playing professional basketball, when you step up to the free throw line, most basketball players have like a routine they do. Mine was 1, 2, 3, bounce, spin the ball in my hand, grab it, and then set up for my shot. And there's something about the repetition before you do something, the physical repetition before you do something. So with Hojo, it is not normal to just like get up and do Hojo walk. So you might want to just have like a little ritual for yourself of how you get there. And what I use is, I line up on a line. You see that I'm so fortunate I've got these hardwood floors, but I find my line, I line up on my line, and then I move my feet like around in circles because I'm trying to help my feet feel their entire surface touching the ground. And that's it. And then I go. So as you do Hojo, I encourage you to train in a way that you give your body a cue, like now's the time that we're going to start doing Hojo, whatever that is for you. And it should not be elaborate, it should be short. Okay, with that, I open it up for conversation, questions, discussion. Who'd like to start?
Telly Sensei, do you want to add anything
Um,
about breathing or Hojo walk or anything else?
well, in reference to the Hojo walk, Ryan Roshi I like the approach. Um, and I think what's important is, like self-checking, you know, so we start off, if you don't have a line, every now and then, maybe as you're going forward, check your feet because the habit's going to be to go like this. I know mine does. As you were dragging that one foot up, there'll be a tendency to skew the toe a little bit or the ball of the foot outward. So Bring it back. Just, like just a little bit of self-awareness on that part. That's going to take some work, and it's going to take some mental, you know, bringing back. So just something small.
In the day when phones rang, I would always do one big breath and a long exhale before I picked the phone up. But you can do it before you click in to enter a Zoom meeting. Nobody's going to miss that extra 15 seconds, 15, 30 seconds of you just taking a moment to center your breathing. Does anybody have other ideas of how Mimi other rituals that you use as you're going through your day? And one of the things I love about the efficiency of these two exercises, Aum breathing and Hojo walk, is your body will tell you if you are doing it with intensity. If you don't warm up and start sweating, you're not doing it. You're play acting at doing it.
You don't want to hide in the bathroom. You could practice doing the Aum breathing as quiet as possible. Well, if you got your face hidden in the cube, nobody will be able to tell.
We are so grateful for your participation and for being, the effects that you're having in the world are the real way that we measure the effectiveness of our training. So I'm so grateful to you. Heather, I'll leave it to you for any final closing comments.
No, I really appreciate everyone showing up and participating, letting us share these trainings with you. These are really fundamental to our training, and it's important to, going back from what we've been given from our teachers. So Aum breathing and Hojo walk, they're really core. So appreciate having the opportunity to, remind myself and ourselves of that, and to come together before the holidays and all the craziness related to that. Yeah, enjoyed spending this time with you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.